So let's get into this. Surprisingly, the very first topic or question, other than thank you again for making this, is a very short summary about anything you want to share about yourself. Ideally, less than like 15 minutes. Yeah. So we try to give a mini bio, like a mini high-level overview, a mini paragraph about who I am. Yeah, who I am today. And maybe nothing more, and then more questions will come, yeah? So we can keep it pretty short, like just an intro.
Very good. Shall I start?
Yes, please.
Well, I'm Constantinos. Thanks a lot for having me here today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we met also in an IKEA event. I'm originally from Cyprus. I've been this time around in London 14 years. I worked for IKEA the last 21 years. Started in Greece, went to Cyprus. I had the privilege to work in 5 countries. UK, Sweden, and also in the Netherlands. And I'm the CFO now in IKEA UK and Ireland. But I'm also a health and well-being ambassador for IKEA in UK and Ireland. I'm really glad that I'm joined here by the health and well-being team of IKEA. And also Alan, who is in the ED&I. And I guess we're going to talk about that, but for me, better performance, that I am the perhaps championing in IKEA or steering in IKEA, comes through happier people and enabling our people to be a better version of themselves and perform really well at work. And that's why I believe that as CFO, I should be also a health and well-being ambassador, because happier people leads to happier company and better results.
Exactly. I think big applause. Thank you so much for being here. Also, just a note, like how many of you guys have at your companies or wherever you work, like a top finance guy being at the same time the well-being ambassador? Like how cool is that? Like I've never seen this. I'm like, I think this is so special, isn't it? Like sometimes we have this, judgments. Finance, oh, I'm sure you're like, not boring, I'm not gonna say, like, I'm sure many finance people are here, like, you are definitely not one of them. And I'm like, that's so liberating and that's so cool. And especially at so high level up, so very inspiring. So thank you for the intro. Okay, Natasa is next.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me, Masha. I'm excited to be in London again after a long break. I used to come here for business all the time. But yeah, it's nice to be in a more relaxed environment here. I'm an executive health coach, a former airline executive. I'm the co-founder of Wizz. We were 6 people.
I mean, excuse me, but founding an airline. That is cool. That is cool.
But I spent all of my corporate career in the airline industry. Before that, I worked for the Hungarian national airline, which doesn't exist anymore. And so my experience, my corporate life, and then my struggles, my own health struggles, inspired me to shift and turn to well-being. So first of all, I was trying to fix myself, to understand why the things work the way they work with me. And now I hope to help as many people as I can with my knowledge and my experience. I work with my husband, who is the first general counsel of Ryanair. So he was...
What a marriage, Wizz and Ryanair. That's so beautiful.
It is. He was called mini-me of Michael O'Leary at one point, but I assure you he's the kindest and the nicest man on earth. So nothing like Michael, but yeah, it's a different conversation. So we are in this business together, so I'm bringing kind of the feminine side. He's bringing the lawyer, the corporate lawyer, the kind of shark male energies and experience. And we live in the Netherlands right now. Our son was born already in the Netherlands. We also traveled the world, lived in the Middle East, actually thinking about planning to move back right now. So fingers crossed, the conflict will be over soon. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you so much. We clap. Thank you. Also, thank you for flying from Amsterdam just for my event. I mean, I think I'm leveling up. I have some people, like my family, my dad, but still like people flying to the event.
Sounds really good on LinkedIn, Mesi.
I know, I can say people flying to my event from abroad. Yeah, cool. So thank you. And yes, please, Christoph.
Well, I guess for me to add is Natasa and Constantinos have shown it impressively, and I'm sure you will level up with your own stories when I say the purpose in life is a life with purpose. And what brought me to banking and what brought me ultimately to my marketing job, and I have to refute that hopefully when you enter a lift with me, I'm not exerting this senior don't touch me image, because my passion is people, and I don't say this for a marketing purpose. I didn't want to start in banking, and I ended up in banking because I found my purpose, and marketing has given me my purpose. And I'd like to encourage everyone, when I speak with you on the topic of well-being and life in general, just step out of the comfort zone and seek areas that challenge you, because life has so much on offer than just the odd mundane career title money thing. Because the moment you leave your business, you're no longer Christoph Woermann, the CM such and such. You're just Christoph. Either you're a nice dude or you're not a nice dude. And you'll find out if at the end of your life you've got 5 people that are still with you. And before I start finishing, that's why I am so passionate as a well-being champion in this company. And Constantinos has proven this as well by doing this by choice. Well-being is not a nice and funny thing. Well-being is the day-to-day handshake that you give repeatedly to your company in saying, yes, I still like to work here. Yes, there are challenges to me and there are challenges to the organization. But my side of the handshake is equally strong as yours. Just because you pay me money, that's not a stronger handshake. That's whenever your paycheck comes, that's the tap on the shoulder to say, you're doing your role well and you're doing what we ask you. But don't stop there. You have to challenge. I challenge myself every day. By the way, by the end of this evening, and then I really stop, you all make a commitment to shower in the morning, 2 minutes cold. And I will tell you why. So, that's the introduction.
What a deepness. What a deepness. Thank you for sharing. Very inspiring, all of you, and thank you so much. We are not going to vote who liked which intro was the best. This is not a talk show. Maybe I should incorporate this for the future, like the talk show style. Not now. No, equally great. Thank you so much. So I'm going to turn first to Constantinos. And I think many of us have some kind of idea about what IKEA is pioneering as a business, like such a well-known global brand. I mean, all the brands like you guys represent, but it's just personally to me, when IKEA comes to my mind, it's not just it's a brand I like, so something positive, like I just love it, I just like it. Is that since I'm on this journey, like in well-being, the more I have this kind of like the well-being glasses, like I kind of like look at things, situations, companies with these glasses on. And I really think that IKEA, to me at least, is one of those very few companies which somehow associated with well-being or just being great or feeling good, like this feel-good brand. And I wanted to ask you, I let you to decide how deep you want to go or how detailed you want to go. But could you maybe share, like, what do you think, as your perception of, you have a big global like view on how things are? What makes IKEA like a great place to work at? Like, what makes even employees representing that this is, a great place to work, and then the company cares about my own well-being, or be it mental health or even physically well? What do you think is the core and the essence? Why are you guys doing it so well?
Yeah.
Which I think is many people's interested in that.
It's true that for many people working in IKEA, it's a great place to work. And that's why you see people like me working 21 years and many others. If you come to the office, you see you have people working more than 20, 30 years in the company. And I believe that first and foremost is because we fundamentally believe that enabling a better version of you enables a better business. And that's why when we set goals across 4 dimensions, not only financials. So we have goals leading to a better company, but also we have goals leading to better lives for our people and also the communities where we live, goals leading to a better planet, and also goals leading to a better homes for our customers. And of course, we're aiming, fundamentally also our vision is to enable a better everyday life for the many people at home. And of course, it couldn't be any different for our co-workers. We want also a better everyday life for our co-workers. And what I love about IKEA is that we're constantly on the way. We constantly challenge ourselves how to evolve, how to develop. We've always had, for example, a health and well-being strategy, but we relaunched in FY25 with a main message, a better you. And before we had 3 pillars, financial well-being, mental well-being and physical well-being, and then introduced a 4th element, social well-being, which is very important, recognizing how important social interaction is to a better everyday life. Also to longevity, I found out that a fundamental factor predicting how long you live is how social you are or social interactions you have. So that's very important. And that was a learning from COVID period when we saw that a lot of people wanted to come to the office, missed that social interaction. But I would say that the way, because these are what we want to achieve, but it's also how we do it. And we believe that the way to do it is through everyday leadership. And that's why I liked a lot your title for today, how important leadership is into this, because our leaders, we may have the best health and well-being policy in the world, but if it doesn't come into life every day through our leaders, then it means nothing. It's just a policy written on a piece of paper. And in IKEA, we believe that everyone is a leader. That's why in your question earlier, do you like jazz or funky? Yeah. I like jazz because, like in jazz, different people at different types take the leadership.
Oh, that's true.
And versus an orchestra where you have a maestro who is always the leader. In IKEA, we always tend to say we're like a jazz band where everyone is a leader. And therefore, everyone can have an impact on each other's life. So we try to enable a better everyday life for our people through everyday leadership and bringing into life our policies. And we constantly challenge ourselves how we can become better. And I'm very proud to say that in the last survey, we have a very big survey every year amongst our co-workers, and we did a really big improvement on work-life balance. And a key initiative behind that, which is so simple, is flexibility. So we had a one-on-one talk with every co-worker saying, okay, what does flexibility mean for you? And sometimes it's as simple as I want to have Wednesday afternoon off because I want to take my son to swimming. And can the business needs accommodate that? And in most of the cases, you find out that you can. And these things are so important for people. So sometimes we think very high level and policies. At the end of the day, it comes down to that.
Yeah.
Can I accommodate your needs? Do I really care? Leadership with care is very important for us. And for me, that's what leadership with care is. Having genuine interest in you and what is important in you and how can I make it happen. And I think in today's world, everybody talks about AI and how AI will take away competences. I think that's one competence that AI can take away. So leadership with care is fundamental in IKEA, and that's why I believe that it makes such a big difference for so many people.
Nice. Oh, thank you so much. Really, really inspiring. Thank you. And a quick note to this: when I met you and I delivered a session for the IKEA leadership team, I remember it was like a 2-day thing. Mm-hmm. So people stayed over. It was in Birmingham, maybe. Yeah, Birmingham. Not this summer, like summer before. And I stayed. When you had the day one agenda, everyone like had dinner. Everyone has the wine, like mingling and this like informal stuff. And every single person I had a quick chat, like on the day one of your conference for your team, everyone said, I'm like, so for how long are you working at IKEA? And every single answer was like minimum 10. So like I got like 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. And after like a few people, I was like, wow, like what is this place? No, that's I think surprising. You don't usually... you don't usually get that, and I'm like, oh, that's great. Like I want to work with these people. Like that's very inspiring. Yeah. So thank you, and I love the everyday thing. Like it's as you, Christoph, also mentioned. Like it should reflect somehow in the everyday situations. Like also that an employee feels like psychological safe. I think to ask, because I think many times we're scared to ask anything because we think, oh, they're gonna say, they're gonna push me down, and that's like inspiring as well. So thank you for that. Mm-hmm. And okay, next one coming up, Natasa. I'm gonna ask you about that thing which I find, and it was the most interesting to me, and I'm sure there are like tons of millions of interesting and really cool, inspiring stories from your Wizz Air time as well. What I think maybe it's really people might be curious about as well, like what made you shift and how did you end up after being like a core key members, like founding members of this massive airline, shifting to a completely different thing, which is now wellness and well-being. So what was your like story? And I know that the story can be written in a book because Natasa actually wrote a book, so big up on that. She and her husband, and it's called Ready to Take Off?
Yes.
Yes.
So the long story is in the book. The short story is that it wasn't a shift. It wasn't a shift from Wizz Air. It wasn't like an awakening for me that oh my God, I need to take care of my health. It's a different story for Jim, for my husband. But for me, it was literally, I was working, really super successful. Basically, I was running on adrenaline, success after success after success. And then I fell in love. That's the pure truth with Jim. And I couldn't imagine how to, like, he was moving to the Middle East to take his next job in Etihad. And I was thinking, okay, I'm not getting any younger. If we want any chance at happiness, we need to. And I was after how long was that? Let me see, 9 years of doing Wizz Air. So I was I think I was ready. And again, long story. There were a lot of like frictions in that time. So I decided, okay, I'll make the jump, and it was big.
Can I interrupt for a second? How old were you when you found yourself in this founding, like as one of the co-founders of Wizz Air? I'm just gonna compare that age to my thing when I started my thing. Oh yeah, I was like older when I started my thing, but that's
but it's
very young.
Yeah, but it was it was a situation. It was a window of opportunity, both for Wizz Air and for us. And I was there in the right moment with the right people, and so we started that adventure. So 10 years or whatever, 9 years later, it was really the good time. And I always say to Jim that he was kind of my angel who took me out of Wizz Air. I probably would be still working at Wizz Air, having a very different life, but so I'm very grateful for that change. But so what I'm saying is that I wasn't feeling the need to be healthier, the need to be to have less stress, to be more resilient, etc. It was purely love. But as I started my new life, I realized, and the really big kind of breaking point came when we wanted to start a family with Jim, and I couldn't get pregnant. And then the IVF doctor said, look, I was 41, and he said, you're an old what is it called? Geriatric mother or something like this, which is a horrible expression for that. I'm sorry. So it's a numbers game. So you have a certain ag reserve, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into the details, but he said, and he asked me a question. He said, how do you manage stress in your life? And I was like, I'm not stressed. I live in Abu Dhabi. My biggest concern right now is what color of nails will I get, or where do we go for dinner? Very serious. That's my extent of stress. He said, no, but given your background, how did you manage stress? And I said, I didn't feel stress. And he said, yeah, but that's not how your body works. Your body, even if you don't feel stressed, your body is stressed. And that was like, what do you mean? He said, well, the stress is remembered on a cellular level. And because all of your cells are stressed and you didn't manage stress at all, like you were not consciously aware of the need to have recovery after sprints. So recovery doesn't happen after work or after sprints. That's my probably one of my key messages here. But recovery is what allows for long-term performance. And I had zero recovery while I was working.
For 10 years.
Pretty much, or even more. Like if we can't count Malev in that. And so he said your egg cells are stressed as well. So basically that was the problem. I'm happy to report that we have a wonderful son, Daniel. He's 9 years old, and so the story ends really well. But so that was the start of my kind of awakening. And then Jim got a job offer in Amsterdam, so he moved from airline industry to another very peaceful industry. He moved to Uber, which he...
Not too peaceful.
No, not at all. That's why I mean it in an ironic way. He quit Uber in a year, so it was like a horrible cultural experience.
If someone is here in the audience from Uber, we like Uber.
We like Uber as a user, but as a general counsel of Uber, it's not the best place to work. But anyways, again, different story. So we moved to Amsterdam. I gave birth to Daniel, and... but I was struggling with postpartum depression, with weight gain, with hormonal change. I gave birth when I was almost 44. So for everybody, especially the women, will resonate with me here that your body is going through the change of starting the perimenopause, like because you are 44. And I was giving birth to a baby and feeding my baby and etc. So this is kind of a long, what I'm trying to say, it wasn't like a sudden awakening from job that I had to be healthy and going into well-being. It was a long process of realization of, oh, I really need to take care of myself. And through that journey, I learned so much. And Jim as well, he joined me on this journey that we decided to to write a book. I should have brought books. See? I should have brought. You
can reach out to me, and of course we can
send you some books. Yeah, absolutely. And we founded WellnessStory, which is our company now. So this is and it's a never-ending journey. Like we learn, I grow older, my perimenopause evolves. So as a woman in business, it poses new challenges every day.
Well, yeah, thank you for sharing. Thank you. It's a giant shift from a job like this, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, for now, I have 3 people in my business, and I have no idea what it means. Like, you know, to build up an airline with such a speed. You mentioned in my podcast what was the speed like year 1 or year 2? Like how many people you grew from 0 to, I don't know, 100 in a year or something?
The idea, like the first kind of the start of the process was May 2003. We started to fly from Poland, Katowice, in May 2000. Actually, tomorrow is the anniversary of Wizz, the first flight.
Woo!
Yes.
Woo!
So 26, so there will be 22 years. 22 years, yeah. To London Luton was the first flight from Katowice. Yes, what was your question?
Then, like, how quickly you grew? Like, you said, like, a number, like, in a year, I don't know, 500 or 1,000.
So we started with 6, and then, I think by January we were 35, this I remember, because we just hired our chief operating officer in January. So it was all about the business. That's another interesting thing, that people think that airline is very technical. It is very technical, and you have to have everything right, but you have to have the idea first. Actually, we had the marketing manager before we had the chief operating officer in our team. But
Good.
my kind of the when we talk about speed, the speediest business I've ever done was when we launched Wizz Air Ukraine, and I was the one who was responsible to set it up. There was 3 months. But of course we had Wizz Air Hungary as a background already, or a back office back then. But that's a different podcast for a different time. But that was 3 months going from zero to actually a functioning airline with 4 aircraft.
3 months. I mean, hello, well done. Well done on that. Okay, so now to you, Christoph. I thought that I'm going to ask you about, because you mentioned like the leadership, how it manifests, like not just at the top, but in the everyday thing. So you're also at Deutsche Bank for how long? Like
34 years.
34, so big up for that. 34, very impressive. How many were you?
21.
21. 35?
Spring chicken, Constantinos.
35.
Nice, exactly.
35 this year, yeah.
35
Wow.
this year, nice. Wish I could say that, 35 this year, not anymore, but that's okay. In another setting. So during this whole time, like if you could like not teach us, but like share what you're the proudest, or what you gave the biggest inspiration in terms of your own attitude or your own behavior, like how could you as a person and as a leader like represent, all this what you mentioned, like in the everyday, like nitty-gritty life, like you have like a very high level top position, like super busy, like crazy, like everyone wants you to be and expects you to be on the top and knowing everything, and just showing that leadership. How could you bring it really down in your life to kind of like be as a role model and inspire others to kind of having this approach, and showing probably to your employees a similar approach what you had when I met you in the elevator, and I was like, this is just a nice person, like let's get to know each other. Sometimes you get the vibe of like someone is like really wants to feel like I'm here. And there is a difference, and you absolutely never gave that for a second, even when I met you, and I really think that's very inspiring in a work environment for others. Like if you have your teams and stuff. So basically, how can you showcase this and be a role model in terms of one thing is preaching it, because some people who are not in chief level roles may say, oh, this guy speaks easy, he is in this role. That's usually the first reaction, right? A quick thing before I give you the word. Once at one of my events, I set an example on like something mindset or mental health, and I used Oprah Winfrey as an example, and someone from the audience actually said, oh, it's easy for her. That's the first thing we refer to, yeah? Oh, it's easy for her, it's easy for them because they made this money and that money. Yeah, and can we go back in time and can we see how many times the person failed? It was hard, and the whole journey, and maybe it takes 20, 30, 40, 50, who cares? My dad, Wave, like he's so active in mindfulness. He never even knew what mindfulness is, and I run this business and he has the booklet and started, and he wants to change and believes, that he can make and help himself. So I think it's just the small things, and it's so inspiring, and it's not about the age and the numbers and whatever. So anyway, I let you, share maybe a few thoughts on how can you inspire, within Deutsche Bank.
Well, you've asked a couple of questions, and also you have given some of the cues of the answer that I would have given as well, because you've just learned from Natasa's story. We usually just see sort of the outside of what people usually term success. It's the outside is somebody is in a leadership position, somebody has founded a company, somebody's a CFO. It's like, wow, they're there. But nobody sees the journey there. And life has a wonderful habit to surprise us with things that we don't expect, whether it's trying to have a child and then not having the right situation. My wife started her acupuncture business exactly for that, helping people in this phase. And therefore, I would say, first of all, and to bring this to confidence and well-being, who says that life is fair? Life isn't fair. Life is a journey that tests us, and we have a purpose. We just need to find it out. Every one of us is super unique in this field. So don't try to live the life by watching other lives. You can watch other lives to get inspired, but don't watch other lives like some social media people want to try to lure you in because it's a commercial enterprise behind it.
Yeah.
So how does it all have, what does it have, has to do with leadership and well-being? As I said to you, I never planned to be in banking. It just so happened that when I studied marketing and I interviewed at that time the most prestigious company in the world of fast-moving consumer goods, in short FMCG, called Procter & Gamble. And during the interview process, I sat there and said, why on earth did I study marketing? To sit here in front of a guy who has behind him a row of detergents and is dedicating his entire life to optimizing detergents and the marketeer activity around detergents. Is that a future? No, it's not. What I didn't understand at that time is that this company had a different culture. Culture of Procter & Gamble is numbers, optimize, numbers, scale. Yeah. So when you think marketing is creative, yeah, it is, but it's also numbers driven. They were just on the edge of numbers driven. That didn't work for me at all. So I thought to myself, hey, I want to be self-employed. And in order to be self-employed, you actually have to know about one thing, and that is finance and numbers. And I, who learned and trained in advertising, thought, I know everything but numbers. No. So I came across the idea that whilst I was studying and paying for my studies by working at 3 jobs, I met a guy who said, you should work in banking. And I thought at that time, banking, no. But then I said, well, why don't I try? So I rang up that bank, happened to be Deutsche, and the rest is history. And it wasn't that I was greeted with open arms. I was told in the first years, like, yeah, you're so creative, but this is banking and this is a rule book. And so everybody, just to shortcut this, everybody has moments where I say, that's not me. That's not definitely, and that's when you do in your gym, your exercise is like, you know what? Learning really starts when it hurts. It doesn't start when you say, oh, it's cool, I can do it. And by the way, your satisfaction when you have pain and when you master this is higher than your satisfaction because you say, oh yeah, I know it, I'm creative. Everybody thinks I'm creative. Yeah, creative, cool. Tackle what you don't know. So I tackled this. And with this comes resilience. With this comes the notion that well-being is not a cinematic experience where you and me sit in the audience and say, oh, that's a nice training course. I'd give it a 3. Oh, that's nice. What the senior management is doing, that email. Oh, yet another email. I'm bored of emails. No, it is like a dance. The senior management can't dance if everyone else dances as well. You can't dance with a partner who stands like a rock. So try to move all the time. Life is a flow. Our heartbeat goes in a sinus rhythm. Our life goes in a sinus rhythm. Our life is contraction and relaxation. And make sure that you've got the right amount of contraction. That's only how you build muscle. That's only how you build experience. So leadership then comes as a nice afterthought. I haven't said, oh, I want to be a leader. Mm-hmm. And those people who I mentor who want to be leaders, I said, no, what do you really want? What does leading symbolize? Do you like to tell people what to do? By the way, the right leader inverts the pyramid, which you know, the hierarchical pyramid, me, thousands of people, thousands of minions, thousands. No. Your responsibility is you are there to support all of their careers. Because guess what? When they walk out on you, you're pretty alone there with your leadership vision. Your leadership vision has to be pure love in the right sense. Love for what you do, love for the people that work with you, that dedicate voluntarily their time. Yes, they earn money, but they have the choice. And you are an ambassador as an employee and as a leader. And what we need to make sure as companies, and Constantinos has outlined this, there's a strategy. He's got 4 pillars. The strategy is, yes, there's one thing that has to do with feeling well, but the other is also the organizational empowerment. You talked about psychological safety. You have to train people in psychological safety. And by the way, the first time it happens, you have to over-deliver. Because if an employee once steps into your office with just a question of trust, and you're so busy with all your emails, and you brush them off, they come never again. So use the fact that when you are speaking of it, you live it first. Sorry, I don't want to I speak deliberately emotional, because one thing you should fear when you take away from today, you have it in your hands. An organization has usually more Indians than chiefs in the old, and Indians is nothing wrong with it. Leadership is an organizational principle that we can get people somehow working nice together. But modern leadership, more and more, is co-working, is in tribes. This is a challenge, resolve it, next one. On the way you learn, on the way you decide flexibly how you want to move in the organization. So be aware of your handshake, and be aware also of your obligation not to just be a consumer, but to be an actor in your own life. And I know you're doing this, but I'd like to remind you, because I said in the beginning, cold showering. What has cold showering to do with this? If you promise me tonight, you're going to step into the shower tomorrow, you're going to shower cold 2 minutes. You're really brave. And you do it what? Once, twice, and then you've gotten me anyway after next week.
My dad does it every day.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing why I use this, because it is, everybody can understand, it's not cozy. Here's the thing. If you really want to change a habit like flossing, who of you flosses every day, you have to make a dedication first to people around you so that you get social control. And secondly, you develop yourself a proper plan with whatever you do. Nothing comes just so, right? You know this famous saying that, if we're doing everything over and over again, that's insanity, that's not progress. So challenge yourself. I've done the German way. I printed an Excel sheet with 21 days, ticked off every day, and when I left it because I was off sick or didn't feel well, tear this apart, start afresh. Because your brain, and here comes neuroscience, your brain only can build neural pathways when you train it to do something again and again. If you've done it 21 times consecutively every day, not just 20 in total of 3 months, your brain has this habit. You wake up and you don't feel good if you don't shower. I'm at the point now, if I don't shower cold, I don't feel well. And that's why I'm saying discipline and routines are equally important than just the constant pursuit of happiness. Because happiness is not just the state of being drunk and being on holiday. 10 days drunk and on holidays is pretty boring. Happiness is a state of constant challenge of the ups and downs.
Can I just, jump
Thank you.
in?
I mean, this was so inspiring.
As a PS.
I think I have my next podcast guest. Wonderful. Thank you.
As a PS to what Christoph just said, Can I just recommend to ladies over 40 something else, not the cold shower?
Yeah.
Because it's very stressful, and when we're going through hormonal changes, it's not necessarily a good thing. Coffee after breakfast.
Yeah.
I mean, not during,
whatever
but
makes
after.
your boat float.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So, but the lesson is
Yeah.
very clearly heard, Christoph. I fully heartedly agree.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Wow. Thank you. I mean, I had so many stories and thoughts when you were talking. I'm like, yeah, maybe this, maybe that. And you would just keep going. Like, it's so good. Like, thank you so much. So yeah, when you were getting to your neuroscience bit, which I enjoyed every bit, but this was very inspiring as well. I wanted to share that. Happy to send out in the follow-up email after the event that my very first company branded, like when I use my logo, treat your staff, was an actual mindfulness booklet. And I came up with this idea. I mean, mindfulness booklets, maybe you heard about them. It's a daily journal. You use it ideally maybe every day or once a week to help you clean, like do mental house cleaning, basically with your mind. And I came up with this idea to have it as a branded gift, so I could give it to anywhere I did a talk or I delivered a session, so I could give it to the audience members. Because I really believe in the same thing, that unless we really take the time regularly and start rewiring, you know, our brain and our thoughts, nothing will happen. So we can always, for the ego, it's always easier to find, you know, an excuse for something, why things are hard, why we are suffering, and why life gets really, really tough for me, and realizing that. That we actually have the power, and we are at the steering wheel, and we have the strength to steer our life the way where we want to go, and you know, our behaviors and changing and shifting from, you know, when you drink the coffee, like how you know, what are you doing every morning after brushing your teeth. My habit is to using the booklet, and I started it a few years ago, and I'm going through a massive life transformation as a business owner, which I never thought that is possible. Is that booklet helped me so much? Because if we don't really allow, and I love this because I think us as humans, for some reason, it always feels just so much easier to blame anything or anyone but not us. Yeah, it's the boss, it's the tough job, it's the economy, it's the war, it's my coworker, it's my stress level, is the traffic, whatever. But at the end of the day, and I think this is also could be a key message in terms of well-being, corporate world, and leadership, it always comes down to us. And this is what I actually share when I do a talk on well-being in a company. I mean, it's easier to blame the environment and the company and how shit it is and how hard this job is, and maybe I'm gonna make made redundant, and them, these big guys keeping me in fear. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you're really, really scared that much, then who is the boss of this? Like this person, right? And at the end of the day, we just need to realize this. Like we can have really good leaders, inspiring people around us who will be there, backing us up, having a discussion about career and, you know, like, I don't know, self-development and helping us, inspiring. But at the end of the day, we need to really make it clear that it comes down to us. And I think as soon as, or the quicker or the sooner someone realizes that it may be a mindfulness booklet, maybe a good coach, maybe a good mentor, maybe Mesi's, I don't know, events or a book from Mel Robbins, it doesn't matter. But just to realize that my small daily actions, as you guys also mentioned, that's the game changer, the repetition, the boring tasks. Maybe you find it boring to get that mindfulness booklet every day. I mean, you just ask, like, why? And that's the power of I just call it like the 1% rule. Yeah, I'm gonna speed it up. So, 2 more questions maybe to you guys. And Christoph, please also mention an example of this before we close. Personally, I love to run this because I get to ask things which I'm actually interested in. And I hope that you guys are also interested in these. So what was your biggest challenge as a leader in your corporate roles when you had to lead, you know, these giant teams and people are like relying on you and watching your steps and every moment you take a breath? What was your biggest challenge when it comes to when you really had to step up and take care of, you know, maybe one employee or a team, or there was like a tight, tough situation when it was something about someone's mental health or well-being, when you had to act out, you know, that leadership and showing up and maybe help the person or help a team. You know what I mean? Like showing that angle of leadership, which is the title of today's thing, like how to blend well-being into leadership, because as you guys mentioned, one thing to know the numbers and that's the strategy and, you know, like doing big talks and standing on stages. But when it really comes down to someone is not well, like you have to notice. How do you notice? If it's not psychological safe, everyone is like, I'm just gonna put my smile on and my mask and everything is okay. And I can't wait to step out of the glass doors and cry. And I did that in my old job every day for a year, every day. And even my family said, Mesi, you need to leave this job. And I was like, no, I'm making it. I'm a tough Hungarian, Eastern European. I'm gonna show to the world. You know, like because we all put on the mask. For what? For who? Why? Yeah? And at least be honest with ourselves. Like maybe that's not reality. Maybe there is change coming. Maybe I have the power to change it and help myself. But that's hard. So when you are in these top roles, like, you know, was there any moment when you could like, okay, like showcase as a role model, like this is how really, you know, you acted out? Because I think it's so rare. These stories are so rare when you're like, yeah, this leader really helped me, blah, blah. Like people are scared to do to HR, to the HR department. And, you know, I'm not going to go to HR because they're going to make a file and they're going to judge me. Like, I'm sorry, but what's that?
Yeah, but you're right that as leaders we have a responsibility to create the psychological safety, and for me the best way to do that is showing vulnerability. It's so important.
That's so good.
A turning moment for me was when I was going through a challenging period in my life, going through a divorce, and I had the privilege to have a coach, and he challenged me to share with my team. And I did go out and say, guys, we had the board meeting, I remember. I said, I will need your support because I'm not in a great state at the moment because of this, and I have to take care of many things and the kids. And they all stepped in. And I achieved two things. One, they stepped in and they supported me greatly. And I was so... because otherwise, if I tried to hide it, then people would say, oh, he's not performing, he's not showing up to the meetings. Whereas I showed vulnerability. I showed that it's okay not to be okay. I was open and asked for support, and they did. Otherwise, I think they would think, oh, he's not doing his job. And equally, and the most important for me is that I showed to them it's okay not to be okay. So if there is a moment in your life where you're not okay, just come out and talk, because I did it first. So I wouldn't judge anyone who would do it. So I think that is very important. So the first is to create the psychological safety. And that's one example. And then the other one is once people come out is how you support them. And defining moment in my career when I realized that take care of the people and people can take care of the numbers. And that is very important. I remember when we opened the store in Cyprus, again, it was a very challenging period. The numbers were not coming and I was very disappointed. I felt a failure. I remember it was New Year's Eve and I stayed to close the store, looking at the numbers, so disappointed. And then the last a coworker walked out from the cash office and she approached my desk and she said, I'd like to wish you a happy new year and thank you so much because you changed my life last year. And what happened was that she was a single mom. Her son was a soldier and they wanted extra income, and I offered her son to come and work whenever she was out from the army, and that we gave her a job. We gave a job to her son, and at that moment I felt, wow, if I could have such an impact on someone's life, then that's what I'm here for. That's what really matters, and it completely changed my leadership.
It gave you a mental boost.
Yeah, I thought at that moment, that's what you need to do. Take care of your people, and your people are going to take care of the business. And that was a turning point in my leadership career, I would say.
Thank you. That's so inspiring. I never heard a story like this, that someone in such a leadership role says, guys, this is what's happening in my personal life and I'm sharing it with you. Fantastic, beautiful. And people just you know, responding to this with such positivity and openness, and that's
or something we encourage people every year. We through this survey we get a leadership score, or sometimes we do a 360. We share it with our teams. That's what you told me, that I'm good at this and I need to improve on this, and therefore I will do this and this. So be open about it.
Yeah.
Because that's the best way to get also people's support, and perhaps be open also where you need support to become better. And I think that's the best way forward. Be transparent. So create psychological safety in that way. It's very important. Vulnerability is the key.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you. Okay, Natasa, anything to add, like from your experience?
Yeah, so I've been out of the corporate business for quite a long time now, but it's very inspiring to hear that business is changing, Constantinos. And my only question would be, would this be okay for a female leader in your team? I assume yes, as well, in your organization, to say, guys.
It's a very good question. That's why we have the health and well-being leader and the ED&I leader
That's so
next
true.
to each other.
That's a different perception what people
Because you're
have
right,
in women.
inclusion is another topic, and how and for example, stereotype we try to break down is menopause, because we underestimate, for example, what women go through menopause, and we have a co-worker a resource group around this topic where we try to create more awareness about the topic and encourage women to come out and talk about it and feel vulnerable and seek for support. And you're right that sometimes it's not the same, but we're trying to create that environment where it's equally okay for a woman. And actually, a woman perhaps has more reasons not to be okay, because through her life she goes through a lot more than a man, and therefore a lot more reasons for a woman.
No, that's really fantastic here, because back in my days, it would have not flown at all.
Yeah, but do you think because it's Hungary, because we are from Hungary and Eastern Europe, it's like they were like, nah.
I think got anything to do with the country.
It was everywhere.
And I think in the last 5, maybe 6, 7 years, we started to talk more about this. But I know some people think that it's an overcompensation. But even when I was actively in Wizz, I was the fire extinguisher, the peacemaker, the conflict smoother. We had very rough male leaders who rah, we go. So they led, they were kind of, pushing it, but then they destroyed a lot. And I was routinely sent in to rescue people.
Oh, wow.
Naturally, emotionally, support them and all this. And it was normal for me, because I said, oh, yeah, I'm kind of the mother figure of the company, but it's all bullshit. Because, to one degree, I definitely have the character to do that. But on the other hand, it's not okay that men are supposed to be these hardline leaders. And, the line that we heard a lot of times is that you're a well-paid manager, you deal with it. This is why Jim and I were passionate about helping the senior management, because everybody else got the yoga, the massage chair, the everything, and we as the leaders of the company were supposed to push through it. And men push through in their own way, and women in leadership roles, I'm talking again from my perspective, from what I lived through, if you didn't push through like a man, you couldn't succeed. But
You're weak if you're not doing the same way, no?
You're weak, but also what you don't realize when you're in your 30s is that you're destroying your health. Like the hormonal problems that we start having in the perimenopause, and a lot of women experience it earlier and earlier, is not necessarily because, some of it has to do, of course, with genetics. Is that what they're looking for? But a lot of it has to do with how we live our lives. Like we are prematurely pushing ourselves into the kind of the trouble zone, because we're not dealing it, and because women are traditionally holding much more psychologically, but also physically, giving birth to a baby, caring for all the parents. And again, I'm not saying that it's true for everybody, but generally we still live in a society where women are expected to carry more. So being an executive female, and think about it, when you are at that level, you reach, I think, the C level if you are a female in your 30s, maybe 40s. You are in, you have tons of wealth of knowledge, tons of experience, but you get tired. By that time, you work for 15, 20 years, you're tired, your hormones are changing, and I cannot do it anymore like this. And this is what I feel now. I wouldn't be able to do what I did when I was 35 right now. So I'm super lucky because I dictate my own tempo. I have a very supportive husband and a super supportive friend. So I work out, I do my meditation, I do my breathing. I'm lucky to be in a situation, and my kind of dream is to have, companies like IKEA, apparently, because there are companies like this that really take into account that we are not machines, and coming from, and I will finish on this and with you, in the airline industry, we are masters of safety checks, maintenance checks. Like if your aircraft is not maintained according to a very rigorous maintenance plan, not only it's not only mandated by the airlines, it's mandated by the manufacturer and by law. You will not send out an aircraft that has little bits and pieces falling off it, or like, oh well, okay, we don't care about it. Like it won't fly. And yet, we expect somehow that human beings who have this amazing machine that we have, we are expected to run without any maintenance, without any recovery. And what I said at the beginning is that really recovery, and whatever that is for you. And my best friend Melly asked me whether shoe shopping is considered big self-care. I said, yes, to a certain degree, but here I mean, like really listening to your body, getting back in tune, and understanding that this machine wears off. And when you're 30 and you think you're invincible, good luck with the whole thing. It's gonna come back and bite you. And this is my story, and it bites quite hard. So take care of yourself and take care of the leaders. I mean, it's good to know that there are examples like this, but the last point I want to make is that as somebody who is on the other side, so we go into companies and we talk about the importance of leadership well-being, is because disengagement cost, I think it's a 2025 number, $8.9 trillion to the world economy. And the number one driver of employee engagement is leadership well-being. Leadership well-being outperforms all the apps, all the resilience programs, all the massage chairs, Mesi as well. But
that's okay. I'm offering it to anyone.
It's
part of the game. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that, take care of, at every level, you must take care of yourself, and you must take care of the leaders, because leadership is not something that you perform and then you go home and then you can take it off. If you are not healthy, if you have poor decision making, if you are inflamed, if you are stressed, it cascades down, and not only that, it becomes the company culture. So it's really inspiring to see you guys sitting here, and it's very reassuring to know that this is happening in big companies, because unfortunately our experience as consultants now is not as rosy.
Yeah.
And there's reality to it. So if I was to sum it up in terms of leadership challenge, let's be honest. Most of the companies, well, in fact, all of them, are in business to always show that their profits increase no matter what the economic environment. I'm working in an industry that is straight on the same direction as the telecoms used to be. They used to be like, big companies that can charge premiums, and then suddenly all the prices got equalized for, the reason for all the telecoms developed. And banking is, of course, a trust business, but it's also a hugely technology business. And therefore, in our company, everything is about cost-income ratio and driving down costs. Now, as a leader, you need to be constantly, acutely aware of the fact that this is an economic principle. It's not just because the CEO has wild pipe dreams. And in our industry, where we are measured quarterly, therefore, you sometimes get these random questions, or can we save again and again? You've done this at 20,000 times. As a leader, it's not that you are doing two things wrong. The first thing is not acknowledging it, say, oh, it will be fine. Or the second one is howling with the others, yeah, shit company. You have to put this in perspective. As a good leader, you have to own the message, even though sometimes you might not agree with it, but you have to put it as a reality and not to say, oh, it's what it is. And let's show that in this environment, yes, we deliver on this, but show them that there's more to it than just cutting costs. Now, one example that I had as a leadership challenge was, there was a time in my career when suddenly in our executive committee, one member made the others believe that we don't need marketing. And
we can integrate marketing into product management. So I got a random visit of somebody who said, well, we're doing something is now a pragmatic marketing as part of product marketing, and you're still running a team. Good luck. Basically, that was this kind of, I'm telling you, you are now basically out of business. So what you do as a leader is not vote with your feet and say, oh, and I'm going to the green company because grass is always greener on the other side. That's poor leadership because you're deserting people who trusted you. So the first thing is, or after Anna said, okay, let's bring it on. That's fine. We may have different opinions, and in particular, our leadership committee. Then you have to switch on your smart mind. First of all is don't share your fear, because of course it applied to fight. In my case was fear, not anger, because anger is the most creative force, but I responded first with fear because I thought, what have I done wrong that somebody thinks that we don't need marketing? But I switched very quickly here and I said, okay, then I need to be strategic. And I said, okay, bring it on. I will move my marketing team into product. Because I wasn't the flavor of the day, not me as a person, because this was my job and my role, not me. So I stepped aside, took head of a whatever market management function, but I still agreed that I manage the oversight of what was the marketing team. I told them, look, it's a different step, but you don't have to fear, although they were technically all redundant. I told them I will integrate you in product, so I saved their jobs, knowing that this will spectacularly fly against the wall, but we would have had to recruit everyone else. So it was a year of millions of PowerPoints and whatever the new direction was. Still, we all found out it doesn't work. Product people cannot do marketing. They can do product, but they can't do marketing because they took an idea of the IT business and thought they can take it one-on-one to marketing in banking. So the leadership learning from that is you have to be genuine, but don't think that they are all your mates. They depend on you to be resilient. They depend on you to take the stress. And you get pity for free. You get respect only hard-earned. So it was a year of hard-earned respect. Most of my team are with me now for 15 plus years.
They're still there. Oh, nice. Well done, well done. Good job. Thank you so much. Okay, so I know we are getting to a question time. So before we get into questions and ask anything, big round of applause to all of you. Thank you so much for coming here, flying over here.